Good morning. It's nice to have you here on this blessed Sunday. My name is Julie Deppner, and I was asked to share a glimpse of God's grace with you this morning. We often use Joel Osteen's term, favor of God, in our house, sometimes in a more lighthearted manner, like when a front row spot opens up in a crowded parking lot. A favor of God spot, we call that. Other favors of God aren't quite so obvious, such as an unexpected job opportunity that I never knew I wanted or needed, but God knew. Looking back, I can see the many times God has sprinkled favors into my life's journey. These glimpses of grace are even so much more precious when realized days, months, or even years later. I'd like to share one of the most poignant glimpses of God's grace that I was blessed with. It was February 2002, and I had recently lost my 3.5-month-old son just a few months earlier. He passed away unexpectedly at his daycare from sudden infant death syndrome. I was working as the assistant principal at Chelsea High School, and a wonderful young man and a National Honor Society officer, Joel, asked me to be the guest speaker at the National Honor Society induction ceremony. My loss was recent and I still felt raw. I just didn't think that I had the courage to stand up and speak in front of a large audience. Joel encouraged me and insisted that I would do a great job, and would I please do this for him? What did this 17-year-old boy know about courage? Through many tears and a lot of support, I found the courage to speak about my loss and journey of survival at the ceremony. When my speech concluded, the audience stood to applaud my efforts, and as I turned around to return to my seat, still a bit distraught, Joel stood from his seat on the stage and met me at the podium with open arms and a huge hug, congratulating me and telling me how proud he was. How many high school senior boys have the courage and confidence to not only offer support and encouragement, but to hug their assistant principal on a stage in front of their peers? Not many. Then again, Joel was one of a kind. Joel went on to graduate with honors from Purdue University with a bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering and was one of the most highly trained airmen in the Air Force. 8 years after I gave that speech, Joel's parents made a similar request. Could I please summon the courage once again to speak about the loss of a young boy? A young man, really. Their beautiful son, Air Force Captain Joel Gentz, was killed in action while on a rescue mission in Afghanistan. I hadn't spoken publicly about my own son's death since that National Honor Society speech several years prior. And I didn't know if I would find the courage again to do so. Yet I was blessed to share with hundreds of mourners about the kind of young man that Joel Gentz was, about all of his high school academic and athletic accomplishments, about his amazing leadership skills and his caring, outgoing personality. Another favor of God was this gift that God sent to me in the form of a teenage boy 8 years prior on that auditorium stage. This glimpse of grace was the gift to carry on when life gets hard, the gift of courage.